So it is Thursday night, and I am here in the only upper room that I have access to, which is the youth room at Wise Chapel. It's a little warm up here. I didn't want to cut the air on, so I'm sweating a bit. But you'll pardon that, I hope. Your reading today was from Mark chapter 14, and when I first put this reading plan together, I've been looking forward to being able to experience this night with all of you. And especially for verses 22 through 25. While they were eating, Jesus took bread, blessed it, broke it, and gave it to them, and said, "Take, this is my body." He took a cup, gave thanks, and gave it to them, and they all drank from it. He said to them, "This is my blood of the new covenant, which is poured out for many. I assure you that I won't drink wine again until the day when I drink it in a new way in God's kingdom." And that's God's word for God's people. And this is the night of the Last Supper. When we partake of Holy Communion together, we are repeating Jesus' words of institution. And while we are looking forward to that heavenly banquet, we're also remembering back that Last Supper that Jesus had gathered with his disciples. And I was looking forward to that. But now I'll be able to look forward to the next time that we can gather together, and I am looking forward to that. But since it doesn't seem to be appropriate to go into communion and the Last Supper too much when we can't share it together, let's turn to John and talk about another aspect of that night. Now in John, he tells us that, I'll begin in chapter 13, verse 2. Jesus and his disciples were sharing the evening meal. The devil had already provoked Judas, Simon Iscariot's son, to betray Jesus. Jesus knew that the Father had given everything into his hands and that he had come from God and was returning to God. So he got up from the table and took off his robe. Picking up a linen towel, he tied it around his waist. Then he poured water into a wash basin and began to wash the disciples' feet, drying them with the towel he was wearing. When Jesus came to Simon Peter, Peter said to him, "Lord, are you going to wash my feet?" Jesus replied, "You don't understand what I'm doing now, but you'll understand later." "No," Peter said, "you'll never wash my feet." Jesus replied, "Unless I wash you, you won't have a place with me." Simon Peter said, "Lord, not only my feet, but also my hands and my head." Jesus responded, "Those who have bathed need only to have their feet washed because they are completely clean. This also is the word of God for the people of God." We thank God for it. Now, I have always thought that the church missed out on an opportunity for a sacrament, for a ritual. I know a lot of us from very rural areas in Alabama have had the ritual of foot washing. We've done a foot washing at Ramblin' before, but I never have understood why people haven't taken Jesus' word when somebody comes and says, "I need to be baptized again. I sinned." Well, we don't baptize again, but we do wash feet. Jesus was talking to his disciples who understood what a foot washing was, not just as a ritual, not only as a ritual, though it was a bit of a ritual, a welcome to the home, but also as a necessity because, they wore sandals. And they had a lot of dust. And so when you came to someone's house, your feet were, nasty. And they needed to be washed off. And so Jesus was using that analogy to Peter that he didn't need to be rebaptized. He didn't need to be made clean again all over again. He just needed to have his feet washed because he'd been walking through a dusty world. Now, a lot of us have walked through a dusty and dirty world, and we don't need to re-experience Christ for the first time, but we do need to renew ourselves in Christ. And I believe that the foot washing is an opportunity to do that. It's also an opportunity to understand what humble service is, because it's hard to be proud and think that you're better than someone else when you are washing their feet. I remember not too many years ago, the last time we washed feet at Cranbrook, it was on a Thursday night, Holy Thursday. And Kit Carson was there. And the Bible may say that beautiful on the mountains are the feet of him who brings good news. But that's a spiritual sense. Kit Carson had old man feet. I understand this. My grandfather had old man feet. I'm going to have old man feet any day now. But Kit Carson had old man feet, and some of you know what I'm talking about. And he came up to the front and took off his shoes, and he had the toenails. And it was an honor with Dwayne to bend down and wash Kit's feet. And he gave us that honor of allowing us to serve him that way. And I remember that tonight. I remember Jesus was willing to be a servant. And I encourage you, with your family. I will demonstrate right here if only I had a pair of feet. Here's some feet. So just take a wash basin and as a family gather together perhaps and wash the feet off. And take a towel. Just like that. Now in these days of coronavirus, we don't talk about washing feet so much. We talk a lot about washing hands. And so if it seems more appropriate to you as a family, go to your sink. Your kids, your parents used to do this for you anyway, but you do it for them too. Go to your sink, get some soap, and wash your hands. And wash your spouse's hands. And wash your children's hands. And allow them to wash your hands. Because we're at a point in our society where we're used to the language of being made clean from viruses by the washing of hands. And so we understand that language and can translate that into a spiritual Christ washes us on this night. If you have no one else in your home, I still invite you to go to your sink and wash your hands. Take a few moments. Remember that Christ cleans us. Thank you for your time. If you have been, thanks for watching. Amen.